What's going on, Jerome's? And take a look at the Vikings 2021 quarterback big board headed into week 12. So the Vikings should be in the market for their future franchise quarterback. No matter what happens with Kirk Cousins, long overdue. We've talked that we draft a quarterback every year kind of guy, at minimum every 2 years. Rick Spielman doesn't do that. He just does not do that at all. Cupboard is bare, so time to replenish and restock things. So now Vikings could be out of the sphere, out of the range for the big four quarterbacks on the board. So is what it is. But let's take a look at the top 14 as we're a little bit of movement, not too much, but at the top, Trevor Lawrence, number 4, Clemson, the perfect quarterback prospect, the Andrew Luck, the John Elway of this class. Game at Florida State got canceled. So he has not played since October 24th because remember, he missed Boston College as well as the Notre Dame game with COVID concerns. And what happened is that Clemson had a backup O-lineman who had tested positive. After they landed in Tallahassee, Florida State was like, nah. So Trevor Lawrence out of action yet again. They do host Pitt on Saturday. Number 2, Justin Fields. So Justin Fields had himself a day, man. So number 3, Ohio State. They held on 42-35 against number 9, Indiana, coming in with a lot of piss and vinegar. And they played a good game overall, but also Fields, 18-30 for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, including 2 in the first quarter, 80.6 QBR, 78 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Survive, but we've talked about the issues with Justin Fields. Like, he has all the physical talent in the world. He's a supreme athlete. He's a smart, humble kid. He's got a great arm. He's got good accuracy as well. But if you challenge him in the pocket, if things aren't on schedule, oh, man. Oh, boy. I mean, so Indiana did a couple of really good things. They gave him a lot of non-traditional blitzes, a lot of non-traditional looks. So delayed blitz, corner blitz, slot corner blitz, a lot of really interesting things. I combined intriguing and interesting, and it was interesting. So they're very interesting. And Fields, I mean, there was just a couple plays that were just flat out bad. Now, Ohio State won and got by just because they're a superior team. But you do wonder what will happen in the NFL when you don't have a distinct talent advantage at all positions, right? So what is going to happen then? Or what happens if you have a poor offensive line? By the way, the left side of the Ohio State's offensive line was where Indiana was making hay. So that certainly is not on Wyatt Davis on that right side of the line. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but Ohio State survives, so TBD there. And they really held on because Sean Wade had himself a nice little pick six, just baited the Indiana quarterback on a out route, and it was just really fun to see. Number 3, Zach Wilson, BYU, number 8 overall. Now, they're trying to sneak into the playoff. I don't think they'll make it. Same thing with Cincinnati. I think the Big Ten might actually get 2 teams in, but it's a conversation for another day. But Wilson back in action, a 66-14 win versus Northern Alabama. Wilson, 10-16 for 212 yards, 4 touchdowns, 93.2 QBR. Also had 33 yards on the ground on a single run. Was never challenged, and that is the problem here with BYU, is that you look at their schedule. At Boise State was really only real test. And yeah, maybe they'll get a nice New Year's 6 bowl game, and then BYU and Zach Wilson will be tested, sure. But it's really awesome to see him make the big-time throws and put up big stats in these big-time wins and blowouts. But it's a little bit like the Trey Lance factors, is that you question caliber competition. You don't really get a good gauge of what they'll do against elite talent. But again, they are playing with some less talent as well. And also, we'll get to Desmond Ridder in a sec. I love when quarterbacks get punched in the face. They face some adversity, then they drag their team back. Fields had a little bit of that against Indiana as well. But Wilson, for as much love as that we have for him, same thing with Trey Lance, we just haven't seen that. Like, what happens when this kid has to have the onions to come back and rally down from multiple scores on the road, fourth quarter? What's going to happen? Yeah, where is Zach Wilson's Jim McMahon's Holiday Bowl versus SMU comeback type game? Where is it? 4, Trey Lance. No pants for Trey Lance. Stagnant, of course. Number 5, Kyle Trask. Number 6, Florida back in action. They had a 38-17 win at Vanderbilt in Nashville. Trask was 26-35 for 383, 3 touchdowns, 94.0 QBR. They started out slow, but finally found their footing and handled their business. And I think that Kyle Trask is the Heisman frontrunner at this point. I think Fields, sort of a meh game, filled with a couple of mistakes against highly rated Indiana, will cost them in the race, even though he'll finish out phenomenal. But I think Trask, wire to wire, has been great. He's setting SEC passing records every single week. And, yeah, I think that Trask will pull a Joe Burrow, come out of nowhere, and then just do the damn thing for 1 year. Next week, they're at Kentucky. Number 6, Mac Jones. Number 1, Bama. So, speaking of Kentucky, Bama put the bang thing on Kentucky yet again, 63-3. And, yeah, as much as the SEC is touted as, hey, we're the best football conference in NCAA, there's like 4 good teams and everyone else is bad. It's usually how it goes. And then you have teams like LSU who is sometimes good. You have South Carolina who's sometimes good. That's really about it. And go back and forth. But, yeah, Bama, Roll Tide, Jones 16-24 for 230, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 96.3 QBR. And what was interesting about this is that Jones was originally a Kentucky commit. So what would have happened in the Bluegrass State with Stoops and company, but wasn't meant to be. Like we outlined before, Mac Jones, he committed to Alabama when in the same class as Tua after Jalen Hurts, a freshman, was doing won a national title. So it was like, oh, I respect that. Bama hosts number 23 Auburn Saturday in the Iron Bowl. Getting it on. It's fun when both teams are ranked. Number 7, the aforementioned Desmond Ridder. Number 7, Cincinnati, up 1 spot, 36-33 win on the road in Orlando against Central Florida. And this is a comeback win. And I love games like this, man. 21-32, 338, 2 touchdowns, also ran for 57 and 2. And like I said, Cincinnati was down 14-3 in the first quarter, and everyone was counting them out. UCF was playing some great ball. I love what Josh Heupel's doing down there. But I mean, Desmond Ridder put this team on his back and just led them all the way back. I mean, this was a full-on Onions performance, and like this sold me. I understand that Ridder, Cincinnati, American Conference, ain't great shakes. I know that Ridder does need to have some refinement to flourish in the NFL game, like taking a snap from under center, by the way. So all of that, the accuracy does come and go. He can be inconsistent, but such a dynamic athlete, such a live arm, does display NFL accuracy at times as well when he does have good mechanics, plus just the leadership, just the intangibles, just the maturity. I mean, this team will follow Desmond Ridder wherever, and you love that about it. But, man, I love it. I love it. I'm sold. If the Vikings do hang on to Kirk Cousins for 2 years, which it is going to be 2 years, Kirk will either be here 0 or 2 years. It won't be 1, given the way that his contract is structured. So sign me up for Desmond Ridder in the 3rd round. I'm all in. Let's go. They are at Temple next week. 8, Derek King. Number 12, Miami Hurricanes, down 1 spot. Through no fault of his own, Desmond Ridder just had that amazing of a game against the Central Florida Knights. The game against Georgia Tech got postponed. Miami head coach Manny Diaz tested positive for the Rona. They're at Wake Forest on December 5th after a week off. Number 9, Sam Ehlinger, 22 Texas. Game at Kansas got postponed. That would have been a bloodbath anyway. They're up against Iowa State on Friday. Number 10, Kellen Mond. Number 5, Texas A&M. Ole Miss game, unfortunately postponed. Second game in a row. So Mond hasn't played since November 7th, but it's unfortunate because I really do like Kellen Mond. I like the cut of his jib. I think that, draft Kellen Mond and reunite him with Courtney Davis. Bring him on back. Sure. Kellen Mond and Texas A&M are hosting LSU on Saturday. 11, Brock Purdy. 16, Iowa State, 45-0 boat racing of the Kansas State Wildcats, 16-20, 236, 3 touchdowns, 97.8 QBR. Also ran for 59 on the ground. Did not finish the game. Was pulled. Backups got to play. That's what happens in these blowouts. Again, it's always tough to gauge, but also, I mean, the quarterbacks could play bad against bad competition. I mean, that's always the other side of the coin, isn't it? But Purdy did look good. I understand why Purdy has his detractors. He makes some really terrible decisions at times, and as well as the accuracy does really come and go. But there's just something about him. Like, he's feisty. I get it. I don't know. Like, I will always like the feisty, get it done no matter what it takes. It can be kind of ugly. Like, I always love quarterbacks like that. That's why I always like Joe Cap. Like, for me, Joe Cap, greater than Fran Tarkenton, even though I know that's not true, but it just feels true. 1969 Vikings, nice. Come on. Number 12, Ian Book. Number 2, Notre Dame. They're on bye. They're at UNC Friday. Yeah, I forgot to mention Iowa State is at Texas on Friday, but we mentioned that. Whatever. 13, Jamie Newman. Georgia Wake Forest is chilling at 13, as well as 14 Tanner Morgan, and the Gophers were in action for some reason. They beat Purdue 34-31 on Friday, 16-22 for 264, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, and a 97.4 QBR for Tanner Morgan. Now, efficient, did not make mistakes. Mo Ibrahim is just back at it again. He had 3 touchdowns yet again. Future is extremely bright for him. Also, this was Rondale Moore, Purdue wide receiver, gadget player / Percy Harvin. This is his first game of the season because he had opted out, opted back in, opted out, now he's back in. He looked great. He was an MVP. He had like 160 yards receiving. He scored on a reverse or an end around. It was really awesome to see. So, yeah, I think Rondale Moore. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him because he was injured in 2019. You have to go all the way back to 2018, but I think Moore could be a top 40 pick coming up in April. But that's it. That's a look at the quarterback big board. Not a lot of movement, but big-time game by Desmond Ridder. Another big game by Kyle Trask. Justin Fields survived, faced some adversity.